Warning: this is a true crime podcast and is not suitable for all audiences. Please use discretion.
Twilight Party, 1994. This story's about when Cinderella goes to a disco and takes out their queen. Woohoo! She goes mad.
That sweet voice you can hear is Billie-Jo Jenkins. Her friends and family loved to hear that voice. She was a star in the making, a kind, confident and talented young teenager who could have been anything she wanted to be. But she never got the chance, because in February 1997 she was murdered in her own home, and there has been no justice for her. This case is a roller coaster, an emotional, shocking and tragic roller coaster. After months of research and speaking to people involved in the case and who knew Billie-Jo, it's time to share this roller coaster ride with you. Because somebody knows the truth to the most important question in this case. I'm Naomi Channel, and this is Who Killed Billie-Jo? Billie-Jo Jenkins. That name just sounds like a star's name, doesn't it? I can imagine it on film posters or on a radio playlist. And to some, it is a widely recognisable name, but tragically for all the wrong reasons. Because she's a victim who doesn't have any justice. And nobody has been able to provide her with any, despite many people trying to get it for her. In this series, you'll hear from some of those people. You'll get to know who Billie-Jo was through those who loved her and knew her. And you'll hear how she was taken from this world in the most brutal way, in the place that she should have been safest in, her home. To understand how her life ended, we need to go back to where her life started. And for that, we need to go to the 29th of March, 1983. Billie-Jo Jenkins was born to her parents, Deborah Barnett and Bill Jenkins, and she was raised in East London. But when she was 8, Billie-Jo was put into the care system. Her father had been sent to prison on drug offences, and her mother was unable to cope with looking after her. When she was 8, she was placed with a foster family who, ironically, also had the surname Jenkins. Sean and Lois Jenkins were already parents to 4 biological children of their own, all girls, but they had always wanted to foster a child. Lois was a social worker, and Sean worked in education. He was a teacher, and he quickly moved up the ranks. Then, Sean got a job in Hastings at a local secondary school. And they all moved from East London to the South Coast, which is in East Sussex. It's a popular seaside destination in England, and in the 1990s, the population of Hastings was just over 83,000. So this move was a massive change for all of them. London had 6.8 million people living in the city then, and when Billie-Jo moved with her new foster family, it was also the first time that she'd ever seen the sea. Sean and Lois lived in a beautiful home on Lower Park Road. It's a striking Victorian semi-detached house on the top of quite a steep slope, which is accessed by a set of concrete stairs. And from the outside looking in, you can see 3 floors. It definitely has a wow factor, though whilst big, it's not secluded. There's a house attached and another house on the other side, divided by a side path which leads you into the back gardens via a gate. Remember that, as that will be important later. I mentioned that the Jenkins already had 4 daughters of their own. Their names were Annie, Charlotte, Esther, and Maya. Family photos show 7 smiling faces, a proud mother and father, and seemingly 5 happy young girls. But on Saturday the 15th of February in 1997, just 5 years after Billie-Jo had moved in with the family, that was all about to change. It was a typical Saturday. Lois was out of the house with Esther and Maya, the 2 youngest children. Billie-Jo, who was 13 years old, was painting the back doors. They were patio doors, and she was doing this to earn some extra pocket money. Sean then collected the other 2 older children, Annie and Charlotte, from a clarinet lesson. He drove back to the house and told the girls to stay in the car whilst he went into the house. I'm going to go through precise timings in a future episode when we examine the timeline. And I also will talk to you about Sean's version of events at this time. He returns to the car minutes later, saying that he needed to buy some white spirit, as Billie-Jo had got paint on the windows, and he drives towards Do It All, which was a popular DIY chain of stores in the UK back then. There was one of those in the town of Hastings, and in his initial statement, Sean said that they were gone for about 35 to 40 minutes in total, and then he and the 2 other girls returned to the house. But then the girls enter the property, and that's when their lives changed forever.
My daughter's fallen, or she's got head injuries. There's blood everywhere.
Well, she's banged her head and bleeding from the head.
Yes, well, I don't know. There's blood everywhere on her head. She's lying on the floor.
And can I take your name, sir?
Sean Jenkins.
Okay. And say she's unconscious. Is she breathing all right?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Right. Okay. Did this happen while you were at the house then?
Yes, it is. I've just this minute got back.
All right. So you don't know how long ago it would have.
I don't know how. Well, in the last, I don't know, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour.
I'm Naomi Channel, and this is Who Killed Billie-Jo?